So, have you ever tried to read the Arantia book and just felt completely lost? Yeah, you're not alone. It's dense, it's deep, and the concepts can sometimes feel like they're just floating in this cosmic void with nothing to connect them. And the source material itself really puts it perfectly. Trying to grasp this book without first understanding the I am concept, well, it's like trying to build a house without a solid foundation. You can have the most beautiful design in the world, but the whole structure is just going to collapse. And it all boils down to one incredibly powerful concept, the I am. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with that house without a foundation problem. Then we'll introduce the I am as the ultimate key. We'll look at its starting point as an absolute unity, see how it differentiates into reality, and finally, we'll hand you your new map to keep exploring. Okay, let's dive into part one, the problem. Why exactly does this text feel so impenetrable to so many people when they first pick it up? Well, the challenges are pretty common. You start reading about the first source and center, the trinities, the supreme being, and all these terms just feel so abstract, so ungrounded. It's incredibly hard to connect these huge ideas without a central anchor point. You just get lost. But what if all that confusion is just because we're essentially starting on page 50 instead of page 1? And that, right there, brings us to the solution, the master key we've been looking for. This is the foundation upon which the entire cosmological structure of the book is built. Let's introduce the concept of the I am. So, what exactly is the I am? Well, interestingly, the book doesn't define it as a person or a being. Instead, it's presented as a philosophical existential postulate. Think of it as the one idea you have to accept for everything else to make sense. It's the absolute, uncaused starting point of all reality. To really get a handle on it, we can break it down into 3 key characteristics. First, it's absolute. It doesn't depend on anything else for its existence. Second, it's eternal. It has no beginning and no end. And third, and this is the really crucial part, it's undifferentiated. Imagine a single point that contains all potential, but it has no parts, no divisions, no differences whatsoever. All right, let's explore that undifferentiated state a little more. This is the I am in its primordial condition. This is before the cosmos, before time, before anything we would recognize as a thing even existed. This quote from the source really helps to visualize such an abstract idea. It's a state of pure, total, absolute unity. Everything that could possibly exist is contained within it, but it's all one. There's no separation, no here and there, no then and now. What this means is that this pure being is beyond all the dualistic categories our minds normally use to make sense of the world. Concepts like good versus evil or cause and effect, they just don't apply yet. All of those require separation. And in this state of total unity, nothing has been separated. Okay, now here's where things get really dynamic. If everything starts as this perfect, undivided unity, how do we get, well, everything? How does this incredibly complex and structured cosmos emerge from that simplicity? The trigger, according to the text, is the inherent potential within the I am for absolute free will. That's the spark. The capacity for this unified totality to make a choice, to differentiate a part of itself from the whole. This is the moment the cosmic engine starts to turn. And this process unfolds in some pretty clear stages. We start at step 1, that total unity we just talked about. Then comes the first huge event in step 2. The choice to differentiate creates a focal point, a center of reality. It's from that center in step 3 that the rest of the cosmos becomes a structured, actual reality. But where do we fit in? Well, step 4 is the bridge, experiential differentiation, which allows for beings like us to exist and have experiences. And this all leads to the ultimate goal in step 5, a final integration back into unity, but it's not the same unity as the beginning. It's a new unity, enriched by the totality of every experience that has ever happened. So this whole process reveals 2 ways to understand the I am. On one hand, you have the existential side. It exists before everything else. It's the absolute prerequisite for being. But then there's the experiential side. From our perspective as finite creatures, it's something that is beyond our full comprehension. We can know about it, but we can't fully grasp the infinite totality from which we came. Okay, so we've covered some immense territory here, which brings us to the payoff. Why is grasping this one concept so transformative for anyone trying to read the Urantia book? What's the takeaway? Well, suddenly you have a clear starting point. You're holding the philosophical cornerstone of the entire text. Your mind is now prepared for the more complex, layered ideas because you understand how potential becomes actual. You're no longer lost in a void, you now have a basic map of reality as the book presents it. And this brings our main metaphor to its final point. By understanding the I am, you're no longer trying to build that house without a foundation. You've just been handed the master blueprint. The complex structure of the Urantia book can now be built upon it, piece by piece. So we'll leave you with this thought. With the foundation now firmly in place, the vast, intricate structure of the Urantia book is waiting. The question is no longer, where do I even begin? The question now is, which part of this blueprint will I explore next? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.